Hey everybody, just wanted to say thanks for joining us. If you don't know me, I'm Haley Davis with Destinations HD, and I actually fell in love with Waterways quite a few years ago. I went on my very first river cruise through them, so they hold a little special place in my heart. And so I just wanted to take, since we can't really travel right now and we're all itching to, I just thought it'd be a fun thing to do to just daydream for a little bit and get to know a little bit about the rivers of Europe and get ready for when we prepare. So I'm going to hand it over to Marcy, who is my partner in crime with Waterways, and she'll take you through the different rivers and the expectations and all that fun stuff as we daydream away. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank you everyone for giving us your time this evening. What I really want to achieve is just really telling you about the different rivers, what each river offers, what river cruising in general has in the packaging of it. And then I want to talk about some of the protocols in place with everything going on in the world and some of our new itineraries. So I'm going to turn my camera off because I don't want to be a distraction. I want you to be able to enjoy the PowerPoint. If you've got any questions, please just put them in questions and we'll answer them at the end. Okay, so many of you may or may not have heard of Waterways. We are a family-owned business that originated in 2002. We delivered our very first ship in 2006. We are noted for many, many things on the rivers, and I'll explain those as we go through. So really what I want to do is tell you what makes us different. You have lots of choices on the rivers out there. We hope you'll always choose AMA, and when we're done, you'll know all the differences. So as I mentioned, we're a family-owned business, and being a family-owned business is very important because we make our decisions right at the moment. So always making a decision that's best for our guest. What you're seeing here, Rudy was the initiating founder of Waterways with Christine and with the Murphy family. Rudy by trade is an architect. He is from Austria and he is a ship designer. And what he brings to the river industry, he is known as the godfather of the rivers for his knowledge, his creativity, and his innovation. And what he really brings to us at Waterways is so very much. But one thing that's very important is the ship build that we have. And we are more shallow at the draw than any other river line. And what does that really mean to you? It means a lot of things because rivers come three ways: high water, low water, and perfect water. And we'd always like to have a perfect season, but that is not Mother Nature all the time. So in 2018, we had some challenges on the Rhine and the Danube. We had no snow and no rain that year, so we had some very low water levels. We are the only river line on the rivers that did not have one cancellation of service. And the reason is because of the way our ships are built, which are more shallow at the draw. We actually operated in 11 inches of water on the Rhine River. Everyone else had to pull over and that had to be motor coached through Europe. So we're very proud of that and very proud of him for everything he brings to the industry and to our company that makes it special. Christine Karst is another owner, dual degree in tourism from East Berlin. She absolutely is the one that is very engaged with our guests and really with just keeping the ships full and making sure that our service levels are always at that 5-star plus. And then you have the Murphy family. And the Murphy family, when Waterways was formed, they owned Brendan Worldwide Tours. And Brendan was one of the biggest land-based companies that did tours all over Europe, but especially to their home country of Ireland. So they had the knowledge that we needed putting the packaging together. So they originated and started our company in 2002. This year we celebrate 18 years of anniversary. It's very exciting. So I want to take you down the rivers and talk a little bit about the topography and the offerings on each river. So this is the Danube River. It's going to start in the beautiful floating Netherlands, take you all the way down through Bulgaria. This is the largest river in Western Europe with more embarkation and debarkation ports than any other river. This river has a lot of beautiful war history because we come all the way up into the Nuremberg area. It is a very mountainous river. It has lots of beautiful trees. It has some castles. It has abbeys, and it has more palaces than most of the other rivers. Uh, waters, everything built right to the water's edge on this. Some beautiful vineyards, but very a lush river. Then you come over here to the river that's actually runs a very close second, being the Rhine River. And the Rhine again takes you from the Netherlands all the way down into Switzerland. Beautiful French influence right through here as we border the beautiful country of France. And then this area right through here is known as the Rhine Gorge. And the Rhine Gorge is an actual part that's about a 5-hour trip. And we actually see the history and get to experience 26 different castles. So the Rhine is known for its castle history. So quite different than what you might see on the Danube. Then in addition to that, you have this area of Germany. So you have some, again, really incredible war history in this area as well. And then it takes you up into the Netherlands, and the Netherlands are actually floating country. There's a floating country. And so it's beautiful. It's on the water, and we take you through the waterways there. Then you've got the Seine River. And the Seine River currently does a Paris over to Le Havre and then back to Paris. We've got a new itinerary that I'll be talking about after a while on this river, but this river is known as the River of the Arts. It is a very beautiful kind of bending river. It has lots of lush green, more hills than mountains per se. Known as the River of the Arts because we visit Monet's home, Monet's gardens. You've got some Renoir influence in there. But the most important thing, I think, is right here. And these are the beautiful beaches of Normandy. And we are the only river line that do a private ceremony on the beaches of Normandy. So a beautiful way to see that area. Then you come down here, and this is Bordeaux. And this is on the Garonne and the Dordogne along the Gironde estuary, coming in from the Atlantic. And as you can see, these rivers are not real long. We see a lot of beautiful, beautiful small villages with lots of old world chateaus, because this part of France, Bordeaux as we know it, is known for the old world wines. And a beautiful area, very terraced area up into the Loire Valley, because this is where all of the vineyards, for the most part, where a lot of the vineyards are in France. And then down here, we have the Douro River, the Douro region, and you can see that that river isn't really that long either. The Douro is a very, very popular area. This particular river is very, very steep. This is the only river that we do not have bicycles on, because you cannot ride a bicycle straight up a mountain. And that's exactly what we have here. The river is at the very, very bottom of the very mountainous region. This region is noted for the growth of the white grape, some of the finest port wines in the world. It also has beautiful villages, beautiful chateaus in this area as well. This area is quite different in the infrastructure of many of the countries in Europe because, in Europe, the main source of transportation is really the train system. Well, last year was the first year Portugal ever got its first high-speed train. So it's a little bit different down through here. It is absolutely beautiful. We have two different itineraries where you can go Porto over Vega Turon and back to Porto, or Porto to Vega Turon, and then on to Madrid for some pre and post extensions. Then we bring you over here to the eastern side of France, and this is the Rhone region. Many of you may know the Côte de Rhone wines. This is an amazing region for some of the finest wines, as well as over here in the Bordeaux region. France is really known for its culinary experiences and its wines. And on this river, you either board in Arles or you board in Lyon. And Lyon is the third largest city in France. So in between the two, you see lots of beautiful villages, again, lots of chateaus. This area is known, we call it Provence. And that's because this is where the beautiful lavender fields of France are located, along with the sunflower fields. And then up into this area of the Saône River, very exciting. Next year is the first year that we are offering a new itinerary on the Saône River. We call the Rhone River the male river and the Saône River the lady river. because it is much more narrow and it's much more curvy. So I'll talk a little bit more about that when I've got a slide on that particular river, since it's a new itinerary for us. And then I'm going to take you up here to I think one of the most beautiful rivers ever, and that's the Mosel. And the Mosel is a very small river. It's a very mountainous river. It's a very curvy river. It's a very lush river. And this river, to me, I mean, you get to see the beautiful country, small country of Luxembourg, and then you go into Germany. And because this river is so short, we combine it with the Main Canal all the way over into Nuremberg, Germany, or the Main Canal down the Rhine. So what it allows us to do is not just offer a 7-day sailing, but a 10 and an 11-day sailing as well. Now the Mosel, the topography, as I mentioned, is very lush, very green, and it reminds me of something you'd see in a Disney storybook. It looks like these beautiful castles were just taken with a glue gun and stuck in the landscape. And I'll show you a picture of that as we go through the presentation. But absolutely another beautiful way to see those countries in Europe. And then we come up here to our exotics, and we have Southeast Asia, which is Vietnam and Cambodia. And now just this year, we started offering Bangkok. So we'll talk about that. We have Africa. So often when we talk about Africa, we don't really talk about water, because when we watch PBS or National Geographic, everything they do in Africa pretty much is by land. Well, I will tell you, I've been blessed, and I have been on our longest trip through Africa. And you really are missing some of Africa if you don't do part of it along the Chobe River. And we'll talk about that. And then I'm very excited to be able to say that Egypt is new for us next year, starting in September, and we'll talk about that as well. I want to introduce you to our fleet, and you know, we, as I mentioned, are known for innovation on the rivers. What you are looking at is an absolutely spectacular vessel. There's only one of them ever built, and this is innovation second to none. This is the Alma Magna, which delivered last May. This ship, we can only build our ships 135 meters in Europe in order for them to clear the lock system. This ship is double the width of any river ship ever built. And so it was absolutely new innovation to the rivers. It has been very successful. Over 50% of the staterooms on this ship are 355 square feet all the way to 710. So we only added 32 people. We added half again as much living space per person. It has the largest wellness center on any river. It has 4 restaurants to choose from. So the big idea behind it was to give the guest more choices. And that's where the Alma Magna really does an amazing job. This is one of the dining room choices. These glass partitions come down in about 5 minutes, and you'll be dining outdoors. Weather not permitting, we have these, and you still get to view the beautiful river as you're traveling. We're the first ones ever to have a cinema on the river. And you think, gosh, would I even watch at the cinema? What would I? Let me tell you something. This has been extremely popular, because if you can imagine yourself having spent the day in Salzburg, we offer Salzburg as a full day or a half day tour, and it's included in your pricing. Most other lines charge you for Salzburg. We do not. So when you return from Salzburg, you can come into the beautiful cinema with something nice to drink and sit down, and we put on the Sound of Music. And you realize at that point, you have been everywhere the Von Trapp family has been just that day. It's a lot of fun. And this is one of the beautifully well-appointed staterooms on the Alma Magna. This is an SA or an SB cabin category. This particular stateroom is 474 square feet. And really what I want to point out is this magnificent infotainment center system right here. Every one of our ships in all of our staterooms have this. We are the only ones on the river that provide this. And this serves 4 purposes. It is a television, a music system, first run movies, and it is a full computer. Why is that important? Well, we're the only ones that give you computers. Everybody has complimentary Wi-Fi on the river, but no one provides you the device. Without us providing the device, you have to bring a tablet, a laptop, an iPad, all these things you're carrying over to Europe. Well, with us, you do not. It's in the convenience of your own stateroom whenever you would like to access it. In addition to that, we have the fastest Wi-Fi on the river. Last year alone, upgrading our Wi-Fi, we spent more than we did on 21 ships for fuel for the entire season. So you can just imagine, it's wonderful and really important because we know each and every person needs to be able to stay in touch with home, their business, or whatever you need it for. But we live today, unfortunately, I say, by Wi-Fi. So then we have the AMA app. The AMA app is an application you download on your phone. It is awesome. You can do it before you leave home. And what it does is every day when you get up, it's going to tell you where you are, your docking location, the address. It can download your photos, but it's going to give you a postcard of something that you're going to see that day that is absolutely spectacular of that city or region. And you can type in a quick message and send it to your entire email distribution, your family, your friends, your business, whatever it may be. People love it because what they do is they put their email addresses in there with their family. And in addition to that, your family, you can download your photos into the application and your family can follow you by pictures each and every day as to where you're visiting. So it's a lot of fun. So Berlitz is a travel writer. They've been writing travel for many, many years. You may know Frommers or Fodors. They write some of the same type stuff. But Berlitz is the only one that ranks and rates all of the river ships in Europe. They started doing it 4 years ago, and at that time there was 280 river ships. Today we have 323. So river cruising has become one of the fastest growing vacation destinations in the vacation marketplace over the past 5 years. Berlitz rates all of these vessels, and AMA Waterways, ever since they've started rating, we hold 1 through 10 to be the finest experience you'll have in Europe. 7 out of 9 of the categories. So it's everything from the ship design to the well-appointed staterooms, to the culinary experience, to the choices we have in tours, to many, many different things. So we hope that you'll come with us and experience some of the wonderful things that we offer. So no one goes on vacation for bad food, right? Well, we have it handled. We are one of the only river lines that carries the La Chaîne Road de Sour culinary signature. This is a very prestigious French culinary society. We were inducted into the society in 2014. What it really means to you is that you will have 5-star dining at every meal. We are one of the only river lines ever on the rivers that has always had a full menu at every meal. You never had to go through a buffet line if you didn't choose to do so. Now with the protocols in place today, we no longer, of course, have the buffet option. Everything is delivered a la carte to the table to each guest by one of our crew members. So our exceptional crew, I love to talk about our crew members. They're amazing people, right from the person who does the laundry right up into the captain's position. But we have a couple of very special things with our crew members, and we have what we call a cruise manager. And our cruise manager, we're the only ones on the river where the cruise manager travels with the guest your entire journey in Europe. So let's say you're going to book on the Danube. I'm going to tell you, please do not miss Prague. And if any of you have been to Prague, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is one of the most pristine, most beautiful, most scenic cities that Europe has. So you go in a few days early. We meet you at the airport. We take you to your hotel. Our guide does, and that's where our cruise manager picks you up, and they travel your entire duration with you, making sure that your vacation is seamless. They help you with money exchange. If you need to make a dinner reservation, they go on the tours with you. They make sure everything is seamless. They take you to the river. They travel on the river with you, and they get off at the other end, which might be Budapest, and they stay for your post visit as well. Then they take you to the airport, make sure you're checked in, your bags are handled, and you're on your way. It is an exceptional way to travel because nothing goes wrong. We take care of everything. The other thing is that we have a very high crew to guest ratio. So for every 2 guests, we have 1 crew member. So it's very high, so we can maintain that 5-star level of service at all times. And really fun is we include shore excursions. So many lines will tell you you can only select 1 shore excursion a day and you have to pay for the remaining shore excursions. That is not us. We have up to 6 shore excursions a day available to you. You pick and choose what fits into your schedule and what you would like to see and do. In addition to that, we have adventure excursions. So what you're seeing right here is all of the ships have 27-speed bicycles on them, and we have 21 bicycling tours through Europe. So if you are an avid cyclist, and this seems so exciting to you, I highly recommend the Danube. We have 1 ride on the Danube that's 21 miles. We pick you up in a different country at the end of the day. So lots of fun there. Then as you're looking over here, we have 33 hiking options through Europe as well. And these people are hiking to the top of the fortress in Bulgaria. I have so many people that say, I don't want to walk that far. I said, you don't have to. We'll take you on the road that goes in the back of it. No worries. You never have to hike or bike if that's not what you want to do. But then we also have another type of tour called limited edition. And our limited edition excursions are going to be culinary experiences. So it's going to be something like apricot tasting. It's going to be maybe a special wine tasting. It might be a beer and pretzel making and tasting class. It might be chocolate making and tasting, torte making and tasting. In the Hungarian or in the Bavarian region, we make Hungarian goulash in a private kitchen. It just depends on the region, city, and village that we're traveling. Because really on the rivers, the way we look at the rivers is we are the vessels and the veins of these countries. We don't just touch on the outer edges like the oceans. We take you right through the heart of these cities, villages. We allow you to immerse yourself with the local cultures and the local people, really experiencing and understand what these countries and these little cities and villages have to offer. And many of the places that we go, if you were on a land tour, you would not visit these places because it takes too long to get to them. And they don't, some of them, you know, we only stay 3 or 4 hours. It just depends on what they have to offer. But you really get to immerse yourself in all of the different things that all of these beautiful little places have to offer. So again, we're noted for innovation. We're the only ones on the river that have twin balconied staterooms. So this balcony over here behind the champagne glass, this is what we call a French balcony. These doors open up beautifully. You get the beautiful viewing of the river. You get the fresh air, but this is a railing right up against the doors. You do not step out onto a balcony. Then you come over here, and this is your step out balcony with tables and chairs. One thing very important to know, you can shut the door behind you, which controls the temperature in your stateroom, which is very important. The other thing to note is we very different than many other lines. Every one of our staterooms has a temperature control of their own, and we do not recycle air. So what that means is the air is coming from the outside into the stateroom, circulating and going back outside. So, and this is the case in all of our guest rooms, our public areas, our dining rooms, our crew quarters, everywhere on the ship, we have these separate type of facilities, which I think today is hugely important. So we're not recycling any used air, taking it from one place to another. It's all fresh air. One of a kind. So we have 2 different dining venues on all of the other ships with the exception of the Magna. And this is called the chef's table, one of my favorite places. It only accommodates 24 to 28 people. It is prepared à la minute or all at the moment. So you have this 5-star chef over here preparing each plate for each guest while they are telling us what we are having, the different tastes of each region, the different herbs and where they come from, and all of the history. It's amazing. And it's a 9-course meal paired with wines of the region. We also have a coffee cafe in this area. So if a guest doesn't want the wines, you can always have the different types of coffees, being coffees, cappuccinos, lattes, espressos, hot chocolates, international teas. We have 2 coffee cafes. The one located in the main lounge area is open 24 hours a day for you. So again, all complimentary. And this experience in the chef's table is complimentary as well. Fitness and wellness is a very big part of Christine's focus. And for many of us, each and every day, wellness is important. We might walk, we might go to the gym, we might get on a treadmill, whatever it may be. But we have a wellness coordinator on every single ship except Africa. We do 4 to 6 classes a day. The classes might be core stretching, yoga, Zumba, cardio, and they mix it up with a lot of fun. So these classes are 30 to 45 minutes. You do not have to sign up. You just show up for the classes. And weather permitting, we have them on the top deck. Weather not permitting, we have them in the lounge area, and we space everyone accordingly. But they do some really fun things, like core stretching and chocolate tasting. I could not believe I did yoga and champagne tasting. They do some really, really fun stuff, and it has become very, very popular with our guests. Also, these classes do not conflict with any of your other classes on board. So, or excuse me, with any of your other tours on board. So you can do these and still comfortably make it in time to do all of your tours. One of the other things I love so much about the rivers is that entertainment. So the entertainment is going to come from the different region that we are traveling that is customary to that region or that city or village. What you have right here are the Hungarian dancers doing the traditional dance in their traditional costuming. It's amazing. The beautiful part of it is they come to the ship. So you're not on a transfer waiting to get somewhere. 95% of our entertainment comes to the vessel. And so you're right in the comfort of really where your home is. And if you need to step away for a moment, you can certainly do so. And then you see here on the left-hand side, this is a 4-piece quartet, string. And they are amazing. This is called La Strada. We have them on all of our ships in the Danube region, and they're phenomenal. And on the Rhine, we have them as well. We have glass blowers, we have artists, we have single soloists, we have local bands. We have all different, but everything will pertain to the region that you're traveling. So one of the most important things to us, and I think it is to everyone at this stage in the world today, and that is that you know that your investment, your vacation is an investment, and that your investment is safe with us. So Rudy, being our president and founder and owner, wanted to make sure everyone realizes what our financial stability is. We have paid for our last 10 ships in cash. It saves a terrific amount of money, amount of taxes, amount of fees. And going forward, we have 3 ships on order. They are already paid for. So we do not order vessels that are not already completely paid for. So we are debt free. So really what I want you to know is that booking for next year or booking for 2022, which we are taking a lot of bookings for 2021, your investment is safe with us. We are going to be here. And just to give you an idea, I know some people say to me, it's too early to plan for 2021. It's not too early to plan for 2021. This year in June, we had the largest booking month in the history of our company for 2021 that we have ever had in new bookings. So everyone is looking forward. I hope you are too. Now I want to talk about the protocols and where we are today within the countries and what's happening. So as you all know, or maybe don't know, North American citizens have not yet been opened up for Europe, but we are operating we have a ship on the Rhine, the Alma Christina, and it is operating, being chartered by a German tour operator, because Germany is able to travel within the different countries in Europe. So is the Czech, so is Austria, Hungary, they're all opening up. So we have to certainly abide by country protocols. And they, up until about a week ago, they were really deviating. So Germany 1 week said you can have 100 people at one time, and Austria said 100, and then the next week Germany said 75. So we couldn't, finally we've gotten it a little more stable, if you will, and understanding, and everybody agreeing with what we can do. So on our ship that's currently operating, it is all German citizens, and it's very different than the regular AMA experience. It's a shorter journey, but it has been extremely successful. So we have fitted this ship with glass partitions. Our crew members are wearing masks. We are asking that our guests wear masks in public areas, but once they've taken their seat in the dining room and once they've taken their seat in the lounge area, the mask is not necessary. So there's lots of different things we're doing, but just to give you an idea, we send out an online health screening before the guest arrives at the ship, and we ask you to fill that out prior to boarding. It is then forwarded to the ship. When you arrive at the vessel, we do a secondary validation of that questionnaire that you've completed. If anyone refuses to do that, well, we just escort them to a lovely hotel in the city. We will not allow them to board. I can't imagine someone doing that, coming all that way with such an exciting vacation, but we do have a protocol in place. Our crew boarding requirements, they must have a certified medical clearance certificate, and they cannot have traveled within a high-risk area in the past 21 days, or they too will be denied boarding. The most important thing to us is the safety of our guests and of our crew members. So our hotel services, we have a designated sanitation officer that's working with international and national health authorities, and we have one of these on every single ship, okay? The hygiene standards, we have been cleaning for months. You know, normally we start our season the 3rd week of March. We have had people on board since that time, crew members. We have been cleaning. We're using hospital grade disinfectants in our public areas, our staterooms, everywhere that anyone goes or visits. We will now not allow non-essential visitors to be allowed on board. And what that kind of means is it's like guests from another ship. So sometimes in the cities in Europe, we dock side by side, and we put a little gangway in through the reception area, and we walk through a different ship to get to the dock. That will no longer be the protocol. Protocol will be, you'll come across, you'll go up about 5 stairs, you go across outdoors, you go down your 5 stairs, and you're at the dock. So making sure that we don't have anyone that is not part of the crew or not part of the guest count on that particular vessel boarding that vessel. So again, just a safety measure for everyone. And of course, the current food safety, we are following all the compliances. And as I mentioned earlier, no longer will we serve by buffet. You can order whatever you'd like to have, and it will be delivered a la carte to your table by a crew member. And then, of course, we do have some family style dining, and that has also been redone into the a la carte dining option. To let you know, our ships are in place. We are ready to go. We have captains on board. We are just waiting for the European Union to open up to North America. And Europe did a very good job of containing the virus, where when they see the outbreaks over here, it makes it very, very challenging, because they don't want us to come over exposed or even with a chance and infect over there. So the European Union is looking at the situation every 2 weeks and is giving us an update. So we are ready to go and welcome all of our guests just as quickly as we can get there. And just to give you an idea, we carry about, oh goodness, about 80% US and Canadian guests. So it is the majority of our load factor. Okay, so we have some new itineraries that I mentioned. I'm so excited about this one, the Rhine castles and Swiss Alps. And this will start next year. And you know, Italy for many, many years has been a #1 destination for vacationers. It's an intriguing country. It's a beautiful country. So what we did is we combined it with the Rhine. So we're doing 3 days in Lake Como at a beautiful boutique hotel in the heart of the Lake District. Absolutely spectacular. So this is the first time for us to be able to offer that. Then we have the Danube River, and remember the Magna is the ship of double the width. And this particular ship this year, normally it sails from Vilshofen, Germany to Budapest, Hungary. And it can do that route easily because it can clear the lock system. Well, now we know it can clear the lock system from Budapest to Rus, which is the lower Danube leading out into the Black Sea. And this is a beautiful itinerary because not only do you see really neat places in Hungary, but you see Croatia, Romania, Serbia, Bulgaria. And in Romania, we also have an extension that you can do into Brasov, which is Dracula's home and Dracula's castle. And then you can go on to Istanbul, Turkey. The beautiful part of this lower Danube is that it goes through the Iron Gates. So these are countries maybe we wouldn't necessarily go out on our own and venture to see, but what a beautiful way to be able to do it on the river, on the beautiful Alma Magna. So that's new. Then we have the Dutch and Belgian waterways. So the best of Holland and Belgium, this is absolutely beautiful part of the world. The Dutch culture is amazing. As I said, the Dutch waterways, like the Netherlands, is basically a floating country. So lots of inlets and waterways for us to be able to explore with you. But we usually only do it during tulip time. And tulip time is the 3rd week of March through the 1st week of May. And I'm so excited because a lot of our past guests have said, why don't you do it throughout the year? So we can, if we can't make it in the springtime, we can see it in the summer. So we are offering it throughout the year in 2021. And I want you to keep in mind also that in 2022 is something called Floriade. And it is the largest horticultural expo in the world that only comes every 10 years. So not only do you get the amazing flowers of the Netherlands, but now you've got the amazing opportunity to see all of the different things throughout the world that are brought to that area. Then we have the Rhone and the Saône rivers, and this is the essence of Burgundy and Provence, which I touched base on just a few minutes ago. I've got a slide on it, so I'll do it here in just a moment. And then I've got impressions of the Seine and Paris, and that is where we're putting a second ship on the Seine River, remembering the Seine is the river of the arts in the northern part of France. And then we come down and we've got the new ships, the Ama Siena, the Ama Lucia, which we'll call the Rhine River home, and the Ama Delia. And the Ama Delia, of course, is going to be on the Nile in Egypt. And we're moving the first ever 135-meter ship to the Rhone and Saône River, being the Ama Cristina, and then the Ama Dante to the Seine River, which I mentioned. So then I want to just point out something about this new exotic itinerary being Egypt and the Nile. And that is the extensions, or the pre and post packaging, is probably some of the most unique in the entire industry. And that is that you can visit Dubai, Jordan, and Israel on this particular itinerary. Absolutely spectacular to be able to see those areas all together. I put this slide in here because I think it's important, in that you remember, not only do you just have the 14-day or the 7-day, but these 3 rivers enable us to show you 10 and 11-day itineraries. And remember when I said to you the Mosel was absolutely breathtaking, like they just took a glue gun and stuck those castles in the landscape? Look down here, the beautiful village, the colorful village, and you look up and it's this magnificent castle. And this is how the Mosel is at every turn. Beautiful, beautiful river. And then you see the beautiful Main Canal with the wooden architecture, which you don't see a lot of times throughout the different areas of Europe. And then, of course, the Rhine, which offers you the 26 castles along the Rhine Gorge. So lots of castle history, as I mentioned, but I love this slide just kind of showing you the differences in these particular rivers. Now let's talk about the essence of Burgundy and Provence. As I mentioned, we have always done an itinerary from Arles to Lyon. Now we are adding from Chalon all the way down to Arles, and then you can extend into Barcelona, Spain, or Montserrat, or you can start in Geneva, Switzerland. So not only are you getting this gorgeous region of France, but you can also now visit 2 other countries. So I think that's fantastic. But we listened to a lot of our past guests, and they said, you know, we love the Rhone region. It's one of our favorites because that's where the lavender fields are and the sunflower fields and the beautiful Côte de Rhone wines. But we want to do something other than just wine. So we added all of these small, beautiful little villages where we visit different cathedrals and we visit different museums and we visit the differences that these small villages and quaint little cities have to offer. So that was really, it's really an added bonus for adding the Saône River. And remember I said the Saône, she's a lady river. She's got lots of curves, very lush, very pretty, but she's very thin, where the Rhone is more masculine and much wider. So here's a beautiful picture of Geneva, Switzerland. It is a beautiful city, a wealthy city. It's an old city. So the architecture ranges from almost where you would see medieval looking architecture to some modern things of today. But for the most part, it's an older city. So you get a lot of good, beautiful history and lots of beautiful tours in this city. And this is one of my favorites, Barcelona. So Barcelona nestled down amongst those mountains. Barcelona is a city of its own. It is, you've got some Mediterranean style architecture. You've got the old beautiful cathedrals. You've got all the way up to new, modern, eclectic architecture. And you've got beautiful things to do from, oh my goodness, the flower gardens in the middle of the city to cathedrals to all different types of palace. We visit all different things in Barcelona. Beautiful, beautiful city for you to be able to visit. And then impressions of the Seine and Paris. So this is the second itinerary that we have. We used to have an itinerary that went from Paris to Le Havre and then back to Paris. Now it goes Paris, Le Havre, all the way down here to Saint Malo, onto Saint Michel, Mont Saint Michel. But the one thing I want you to remember about this area, beautiful, beautiful villages, Giverny, we visit Honfleur, we visit Monet's home, Monet's gardens, beautiful, beautiful topography on this river, and beautiful little cities and villages known for their culinary experiences, for their cathedrals, for their museums, for their art. And then, but one thing that's so very important about this is the beaches of Normandy. And both itineraries take you to the beaches of Normandy. And we are, again, the only river line that do a private tour of the beaches of Normandy for our guests. So then here's a beautiful picture of the Eiffel Tower in the beautiful city of Paris. And look at this. This is St. Malo on the coast. So I say we're going to mix the beautiful experience of the river with just a dab of ocean into this magnificent island. And we actually, our hotel is in the heart of this city, located within a half a block of everything that the city has to offer. The big cathedrals, everything, absolutely magnificent. And then 13 miles away is Mont Saint Michel. This is the largest abbey in France, some still operational. Absolutely spectacular. We go out and do our tour of this island and give you free time to spend in this area. Many people have said to me when they did this particular itinerary before we offered Mont Saint Michel, they extended and did this on their own, and they wish that we would have offered it. Well, now we do. So we take you there, we do the touring, you get the beautiful guides, and you get to see this magnificent destination. Now I want to talk a little bit about Egypt. And we start Egypt in September of 2021. It goes through, of course, December, and then we pick it up in 2022. And this is the beautiful and luxurious Amadalia. It only holds 64 people, is in the build process currently. We will have 8 standard staterooms, and all the remaining will be suites. And now let's talk a little bit about how this works. So we're doing 3 nights in Cairo, up in the Giza area, and we're doing all kinds of tours up through here, all kinds, temples, and we actually have one that has like lunch at the presidential, in a presidential palace that you normally cannot even experience, but we have that included in our packaging. And so you do this area, and then you fly down to Luxor, and we board the beautiful Amadalia, and then we go all the way down into Aswan, and you have the option to go on to Abu Simbel, and or you come back up to Luxor and you fly to Cairo, and then you can fly over to Israel if that's what you choose to do. And on the way in, you can see Dubai or Jordan. So a beautiful way to see Egypt. I must tell you that the demand for Egypt is incredible. If it is not on your bucket list, I hope you'll do a little reading, because I think it should be on your bucket list. We just started selling Egypt about 30 days ago, and we are already at 60% occupancy for next year. So if Egypt is somewhere in there, I will tell you, I've been to Israel, I've been to Jordan as well. And if you're going that far, please take a few extra days and see everything you can in this region. It is absolutely magnificent. And I want to talk a little bit about a couple of promotions that we have currently going on. And before I touch base on Frontline Heroes, I will tell you that we have about 60 sailings for next year where we are offering complimentary air. So definitely be thinking about that, because you don't see a complimentary air offer very often. And it's on all of the different rivers. We also have a promotion for attending this evening. That is a 2-for-1 opportunity. So it's buy one, basically get one free. On the Seine and Paris, that new itinerary that visits the beaches of Normandy and goes all the way down to St. Malo and into Mont Saint Michel. So it's April 22nd of 2021, buy one, get one free. Then we have something to say thank you to all of our frontline heroes who have worked so hard to take care of us during this very challenging pandemic. And that is a buy one, get one free for the entire year next year on any Europe or Asia sailing. They will be able to confirm it 3 months prior. And if you're on and listening tonight, it applies to anyone who carries a medical certificate. So a medical certificate sometimes is required for firemen. It's required for EMT, it's definitely required for nursing, and it's definitely required for doctors. So we want to reach out and say to those people, you are so deserving of a break and of a special vacation, and we want to offer that to you. Now, if you're listening tonight and this does not apply to you, but you know someone that it does apply to, please share this with them. We want everybody and anybody that can go to sincerely enjoy and get that vacation that they're so deserving of. And I wanted to say, here is Haley's information. If you want to take note of it, very important. She did an amazing job. Thank you so much, Haley, for making this happen. I certainly appreciate it. And I'm so glad everybody gave their time this evening to join us. And I'm going to go on. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Did somebody have some? No? Okay. So if we have anyone that has questions, please just type them in. I am here to answer all of your questions. I do want to tell you that we also have a solo traveler program. And that is, if you travel alone, we love you, we want to have you, and we don't charge you 200%, which a lot of people do. So we have certain cabin categories where we offer a solo traveler at 125% only. And that's through every sailing in Europe and Asia. Okay. Does anybody have anything you can think of that I haven't covered that everybody knows where they want to go and when they want to go, right? Okay, well, if you have any questions at all, Haley would love to help you. I want to say thank you so very much for joining me this evening and sharing your evening with us. We look forward to hosting you on board as one of our very special guests, and it's never too early to book. So please, we're taking bookings all the way through the end of 2022 right now. Thank you, everyone. Please stay safe, wear your mask so that we can open up the world so that we can travel again. Thank you so much.